Happy March! We have a new month, so a new theme. That theme is Jesus, because it's Easter month. So we will be focusing on the teachings that Jesus brought to the earth and the example he lived for us on his walk to his big demonstration. And in that, he showed us, he enlightened us to our salvation. Now don't shut down to the word salvation. Jesus in the Aquarian Gospel defined salvation as a ladder from our heart to the heart of God. So it is a stepping up, a lifting up in consciousness to connect directly to God because we are children of God. So that's not a fanatical teaching, right? But it was a radical one. So in my message today, I'm going to be talking about stepping out as a child of God. And what does that mean in our relationship to self? And what does that mean in our relationship to the world? We need to understand this so that we can fully join the movement that Jesus started, the movement of love. For the children of God are having a big comeback. So here we go. Who can claim this title, Child of God? Who can claim that birthright? Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. The Bible says it's a very select group, and I agree. You might have heard this. It is the whosoevers. So whosoever believes, whosoever knocks, whosoever seeks, whosoever goes within their heart and connects with their higher power. So I believe, yes, we do have a room full of whosoevers here. So whosoever is a child of God, and I think we got the God part down. We know that God isn't this white-bearded puppet master, that God is an unlimited, powerful, all-loving, universal life force that really can't be defined. What I want to look at is the child of part, the child of. Because for me, that starts to open up files and push buttons. Because for me, being someone's child was not a comforting thing, wasn't a comforting thought. My parents weren't into being parents. I wasn't planned. There was no joyful, we adored thing. They had their issues to work out. And that's okay now, because I know that to the universe, I was not an oops, I'm a wow. But when I would hear Father, Mother, God, a part of me would cringe. Because in my definition of that, I didn't want to connect to that, because that wasn't safe for me. And when I would look at Jesus, Son of God, look what happened to him. Now, I grew up listening to Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know if there's anyone in here that wouldn't know what that is. A musical based on the crucifixion, the trial and the crucifixion. Well, when I was younger, my sister and I, we would act out the whole thing. I know every word, and I would so get into the drama of it. And it seemed to me that Jesus had to go through a lot of ow to get to his big wow. And this story has made it into, in some way or another, made it into our consciousness and into ourselves. So when we go to step out as a child of God, a little red flag can start waving, saying, oh, wait a minute, is this a safe thing to do? And what programming are we bringing with us when we step out as a child of God? When I looked to Jesus for answers to that question, and to me it seemed that through all his drama, he never lost faith in having God as his Father. How did he get that? So Jesus said, look at faith. I really wanted to understand what my relationship is as a child of God. Jesus told me to look at faith. In the Aquarian, he defined faith as the surety of the omnipotence of God and man. So he didn't stop at God. He said the omnipotence of God and man. And it goes on further to explain, with that omnipotent energy, we have that same energy of God within us, the same energy that Jesus has. So as Jesus lifted his vibration to be able to ascend, so can we lift our vibration up to ascend. So we all have our little omnipotent caps on, right? Because I know we all are into evolving to becoming more and more one with God, and that we understand we're powerful creators. We're always creating. You know, we cannot not be a creator. We don't have free will in that part, because we are always creating with our thoughts and our words and our feelings, putting it out there. So that's just part of our nature as a child of God. We're always creating. And our creations are always affecting the whole, always affecting the world. Our thoughts are always affecting the world. So we are powerful creators. So at this point, I want to stop for a moment and share a story with you that I was guided to apply looking at faith too. So I need to tell you the story first before I go on further with faith, okay? So once upon a time, I gave myself a mission. I wanted to be able to take that feeling that I get in a meditation, bring it out into the world and sustain it while I'm out in the world. I thought this is what a child of God would do, would be good at, so this is what I wanted to do. So one morning, I get in my meditation room. Isn't that so great when you're in your meditation space and you're feeling good, you're feeling peaceful, you're feeling lovable, and you're loving. So I reach a good spot, get in my car to go out, and I remember putting in a CD of a Sunday service from InnerQuest in the CD player. So I need all the help I can get. So I got the CD going to help me stay focused and keep my energy high. And so I get to TJ Maxx. So I go into TJ Maxx and I'm affirming I'm a child of God. And anyone else I come into contact is a child of God. Now TJ Maxx is the kind of a store that has all one size grouped together. So their sizes are grouped together. They don't have their clothes grouped together by style. It's like a normal department store. They have one style and all the sizes in that style there. This is shopping 101, okay? So in TJ Maxx, you have to go through all of the dresses that are in that one size to see all the different styles and what's on sale. So I go up to the dresses and I'm going on the rack, and there's an unspoken rule that you don't look where someone else is looking. You can wait until they finish looking, or you wait behind them, and then as they move on, you move on. Or if you're coming from different ends and you meet in the middle, you look at each other, go ready to swap, and you swap places, and you can start looking right where you left off, so you don't miss any styles and you don't miss any of the bargains. So I'm affirming I'm a child of God. I'm shopping, I'm in a happy place, easy to keep my vibration up, right? So I'm going through the clothes, and this woman comes up. She starts looking, right where I'm looking. She doesn't say excuse me, doesn't acknowledge me. She puts her hand right where I am and she starts going through the clothes. I'm shocked, I'm surprised, so I don't say anything. I stand there and I'm thinking, okay, I'm a child of God. She's a child of God. I don't really understand what she's doing, so I just wait, and she gets done looking where it doesn't pick anything, and then she leaves. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I passed that test. So I keep looking, and I get further down the rack, and she comes over again. And she starts looking right where I'm looking. Doesn't say anything. I'm like, okay, so I'm a child of God. She's a child of God. You know, I will let this child of God have this dress rack. I don't need to be looking at the dresses right now. I will go to the shirts. I'll come back to the dresses. She can have it. I'll let her have that space, and I'll keep my space. So I go over to the shirts, and I start looking. 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, this woman comes over, and she starts looking, again, right where I'm looking. Now, if you saw this in a TV sitcom, you would say, no way would this happen in real life. But she is looking right where I'm looking. And so now, what I say is, you know, woman, I don't care whose child you are, but you need to get out of my space. And now I realize I've lost it. I lost that higher vibration. And now I'm annoyed, and I'm irritated, and I'm mad at her because she made me lose my higher vibration. And so I feel like I failed in my mission. So Jesus told me to look at faith. How do I apply faith to that story? Well, it was where I was putting my faith that was keeping me blocked from being able to maintain that higher vibration. And let me explain. Earlier, I said that Jesus didn't lose his faith in having God as his Father. That's really a misnomer, because we don't lose faith. We don't lose faith. We just put it in different places. All right, so we put our faith in different places. We either put our faith in that the universe is working for us, is our advocate, or we don't. It's simple, 2 choices. Well, what Jesus also said about faith is that faith is what we know to be true. It's what we know to be true. For faith is not blind. Faith is visionary. faith is actually one of the rungs on that ladder of salvation from our heart to the heart of God. It's a very short ladder. It's only 3 rungs. The first one is belief. When I believe that possibly perhaps something is true. And then there's faith, when I know something is true. And then there is the third rung, which is fruition, when we are the truth. So when I went shopping, I stepped out on that ladder again. And I said, okay, I have the belief that possibly, maybe, perhaps, I can hold a higher vibration out in the world as a child of God. So I'm wanting to grow into this new space, expand into a higher awareness. And as we know, that when we try to do that, that which is within us that doesn't vibrate at that higher vibration will come up to be seen, to be healed, to be shifted. So I walked into the store affirming, I'm a child of God, I'm a child of God. But I had within me the illusion that I need to protect myself. And how do I protect myself? I put up walls. Now what we know about walls is that when you put them up, you have to guard them. So that saps your energy. So my brain's saying I'm a child of God, and my energy is answering, okay, now I need to be on guard. So I'm trying to think myself into this new expanded place, but my energy is vibrating out that I need to protect myself. So I was pretty much guaranteed a confrontation when I walked into that store. So when it came time to where I was placing my faith, was I going to put it in the universe knowing that it was working for my good, so that this was somehow just a fun learning experience for me, a chance to look at old programming and to grow? Or did I put my faith into that old programming? And that's what I did. Because I had gotten into fear. Now, didn't sound like a very scary story, but I went into fear because that woman wasn't playing by the rules. And my inner child, to feel safe, needs to know what the rules are, how to play them out in the world, so she can feel safe because she knows what the rules are. So when that woman didn't play by the rules, a part of me went into fear. So my faith went into my old programming. And I put up the walls. So we have to shift the old programming to allow new programming to come in. And my new programming was what I learned was that I don't need to do the walls, I could have boundaries. Because the walls, they protect us, they keep people out, they keep our blessings out, they keep the world out. And they have to be guarded and they sap your energy. Now a boundary is a concept that is built within. So I know what, where, when, who to say no to. And no doesn't sap my energy. And no doesn't lower my vibration. So a boundary is built within to strengthen a person from within. So I don't have to fight for my space anymore. I don't have to guard or fight for my space anymore. Because I am not an oops, I am a wow. So can we say I'm a wow? Yeah. I am a wow. Well, I had no clue that going to TJ Maxx was going to have such a profound effect on me and on my programming and on how I see myself as a child of God. But I stepped out saying, I am a child of God. I invoked the name of God, and that transformed everything. Now, as children of God, we have choices, and we can choose how we want to grow. We can grow through a pain and struggle, or we can just have some growing pains and move through a situation easily. Well, I think that having the universe help me grow by going shopping proves that God loves me. So, looking at where I put my faith put me on the trail to finding the programming that was keeping me blocked from embracing I'm a child of God, looking at the faith. So talking about growing, we have painful situations in life and we can grow from them. And that's part of life. There's always going to be pain in life. I'm talking about the programming that gets passed down to us from our parents, their parents, of how we will grow in life as a child of God, how do we evolve? So the programming that we can get passed down to us is through pain or struggle. So we have to look at what our programming for growth is. And we want to check and see, we can go from pain to gain. We don't want to believe in no pain, no gain, but pain to gain, and just not go from pain to shame. Because when we go out to achieve, I had my mission to go out and keep my vibration high, and I felt like I was defeated and that I failed. I did feel bad about myself. And when we feel bad about ourselves, it can go into shame. And I was watching Dr. Christiane Northrup, and she was talking about this, and she said shame is very toxic, and that shame actually creates an inflammatory chemical in your body. They call it IL-6, and it gets stored in the fascia of your body, the connective tissues of your body. So if you hold on to the shame and feeling bad long enough, you can cripple yourself. You can really get yourself stuck. And the trouble with being stuck in shame is that we can stop loving ourselves. And when we stop loving ourselves, or loving part of ourselves, then it makes it hard to love others. I liked what I heard Maya Angelou say one time, that she doesn't trust a person that says, I love you, and they don't love themselves. It reminds her of an old proverb that says, be wary of a naked man offering you a shirt. And Jesus said that one of the most important things we can do is love our neighbors as ourselves, love others. So if you're in a space where you're feeling bad about yourself, you're feeling shame, you're just not feeling lovable to yourself, tuck that directive in your heart. You can put it to the side of having to love others as you love yourself, and take that time to work on yourself. It's so important to take that time to heal any old programming, but look and see what's going on if you cannot feel very loving, fully loving to yourself. So all I just talked about, I've mastered it. So I go out to achieve. I don't quite hit the mark. I'm not perfect. I wasn't the perfect child of God. I feel bad and go into shame, and I don't love myself, and then I don't want to talk to anybody. So I've been in that cycle, and thank God I got to a place where I wanted to move on from that. I wanted to shift out of that. And something happened where I realized it was a sign of land that said, yes, this programming has been shifted for you. I was at a church when I was in London, so this is over a year ago. And the church we went to was in Piccadilly Circus, so it's a big touristy area. And it was a big church. It wasn't a cathedral, I didn't call it a cathedral, but it was as big as one. So we would have a lot of people that would want to come in and look at it. And they had doors that would close off the sanctuary for Sunday service time so we wouldn't be disturbed. And out in the lobby area, the clergy and everyone involved in the Sunday service would line up and do a procession in when the music started. So when I got to church that morning, they were already lined up, so I was waiting until they went in and I would go in. And then a young lady came up to me, and she asked if it was okay if she was allowed to go into the church. And I said, sure, if you don't mind sitting through the whole service, because once you're in, they have the doors closed. So she said, okay, she came in with me, and she sat next to me. And then the service started, and she took her phone out, and she starts typing. And I'm like, really? You can't even wait until you're out of church to be on your phone? And so I got real judgy. And I'm like, gosh, I'm in church. I don't want to feel judgment. I want to feel good while I'm in church. Can I just keep this vibration high? So I want to be able to focus on the service, but I'm being distracted by my judgment. I'm focusing on that because she keeps typing in her phone. So it comes time for the communion part. And the church does it differently. Everyone in the church goes up and circles around the altar for communion. So everyone can really be a part of it and share in it. And when you go up, you need to take all your stuff because it's a city and it could get stolen. So I was telling her this. I was sharing this with her about what was going to happen. I said, when we go up for communion. And she said, oh, good communion. Could you type that into my phone? And she was using a translator. So she was trying to be more part of the service by understanding what was going on and typing in the words she didn't get. I felt like such a jerk. He was just doing something I think was very honorable, and I was being all judgy about it. I'm like, okay. So I laughed at myself, though. Like, okay, it's a nice reminder that I don't know what anyone's going through. I don't know why she was having to type into her phone, so I didn't have to go into judging about it. And I could be more gracious with my thoughts, and that there's probably a good reason for her, or I could be more gracious in my thinking. So it was a nice reminder of that. And I get to have my learning, my growing experience in church. So it wasn't shopping, but it was in church. So it's another nice growing avenue. But I just laughed at myself through it. And so now I know next time that I don't have to go there. So the programming has shifted because I can laugh at myself. I didn't go from the pain into the shame. I went from a little bit of uncomfortableness, I had a little growing pain, and then it was great. It was great. I felt good about myself. I could love myself through the growing process. So there is a little 3-step process that I wanted to share with you that can help shift the old programming. It's really easy to remember. The first is the almost step. I almost believe the universe is always working for my good. I almost believe in my intuition. I almost believe in tithing. I almost believe that having a drama-free life can still be exciting. So if we can look at our beliefs and see which ones are in almostville, because those are the ones that you need to get some clarity around so that you can expand them, evolve them, or let go of them. What beliefs are stuck in almostville? So the first step is seeing what's in almost. And then the next step is your most step. So this is the most I can do. This is the most I can achieve. So when you're in that space where you feel like this is the most that you can do, you actually put yourself in a box, because we work life through our filters and our experience of our reality. So when we try to grow and expand beyond, it's going to be a struggle if we're doing just the most we know how to do. So when you're in that most cycle, it can be frustrating because you're trying to move beyond where you've been. You keep hitting your ceiling. It's called your personal ceiling. So when you feel yourself frustrated and you're saying, I've done the most I can do, I've achieved the most I can achieve, go to this next step real quick. And the next step is your utmost step. So you're at your utmost when you connect with God. You activate your utmost button when you connect with the power that is within you because you're a child of God. And so connecting with God is like pushing that utmost button. And what we need to understand as a child of God, we are already whole. We might be a whole mess, but we already have what we need within us. So connecting directly with God is like activating that utmost programming that is already within you. So what do you say? Are you ready to go within and push some utmost buttons?
Yes.
Okay. So if you get comfy again in your chairs and close your eyes. And see a column of light that comes down around you, creating a sacred, safe space. And feel your brother, Jesus the Christ, standing with you in this sacred space. Feel him touching the top of your head, gently opening your crown chakra. And allow an inflow of love from Jesus, from the universe, from God, to flow into your crown chakra and let it flow down into your heart. Let it rest there for a moment. And feel the friendship of Jesus and the support of the universe that is there in your heart for you always. Now direct this love, this energy, down to your solar plexus. And as the light enters into this solar plexus chakra, the light ignites a button, an utmost button, that empowers you with confidence and the joy of achieving with the energy of God with that utmost energy. Feel the empowerment, feel the confidence and the joy of achieving the utmost. And bring this light down now into the spleen chakra. And when the light enters here, it turns the button on, the utmost button. And when this button turns on, you hear God whispering to you of your unlimited value and the glory of you. Let yourself feel your unlimited value, your utmost value. And now invite that light down into your root chakra. And when the light pushes that utmost button there, hear the radiance of your existence made clear. That you are a child of God rings so clear here. That is your identity. Feel the radiance of your existence as a child of God. And now let yourself gently move back into your heart chakra. And rest there for a moment in that light. And say to yourself, I am God's love fulfilled. And breathe that in. And feel yourself fully present in your seat. Feel some utmost buttons activated within your being. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Now these buttons can get turned off, so make sure you check them. So you can go in, flow where you're guided. Flow in, bring the light, connect with God, and turn those utmost buttons on. So for me, now being a child of God is living in that utmost mode. It is choosing to put my faith in life. It is choosing to put my faith in the universe. It is choosing to love myself and to love others. So let us ignite a big comeback for the children of God. Now, a comeback isn't a go back. We don't have to go to the past and fix everything. We can start right where we are in this moment. Call forth the power of God so we can be a powerful force for the movement that Jesus started, the movement of love. And we can love powerfully because love is the most excellent thing that we can do.